worked on the Tree of Life with Alexandre Desplat for Terence Panic, which was my hugest project outside France. Bienvenue chez les Ch'tis, who was really famous. They had 24 million entries in France. It's really, really huge for the country to have that. Most of things are recorded for cinemas, so we have 3 speakers in the front. So many things are recorded on LCR, like the orchestras. We used the Decatry for an example. It's a system with 3 mics. You're specialized in a particular way just to record the things, and with all the things that's all around the movies. That's the difference. Sound engineers, if you say that in France, sound engineer, you can work on the TV show, you can work for pop music, for documentary, but music score and mixer, you work for films, for movies especially. The main difference between recording an orchestra and pop music is that in orchestra we want to have the rooms, the sound of the rooms we're recording. In pubs, most of the time, we have the close sound, and we want to keep something really close and in front. The orchestra, I think, is the opposite. We try to have the rooms, the acoustic of the room, and that people can say, "Oh, it's recorded there," or "It's recorded there," to keep in the best way the perspective of all the orchestras, the woodwinds, the percussions, second plan, the third plan, brass on the left, on the right, bass on the right, violins on the left, and that if people listen to the music and just close their eyes, they could see the orchestra if they were in the rooms. For me, it's the big difference between the two. I enjoy to record orchestras all the time because I like to make the setups. I really like that. I like to be there before the recordings, set up all the mics, the chairs. It's really important. One engineer said, sound is the setup, setup is the sound. If you get the right setup, most of the time you get the right sound. One thing I love with orchestra is that you're working with a lot of musicians for just a short time and you get a lot of music. Pop, you stay a long time in studios with 1 or 2 musicians for 3 minutes of music. I prefer live music, and pop music, you make a lot of overdubs, and I don't really like the overdubs. Too much time and energy. When you have people playing live, you can have the result right now. You don't have to wait 1 month to mix the song, say, okay, it's working. That's a big difference between them. And I think I have the classical approach. When I was a musician, I was playing in orchestra when I was in the conservatory. So for me, it's normal to play with people all the time and playing live. Music is to be together and playing live music. If you have the right mic at the right place, you don't have to change everything after that. Or you want to produce. But most of the time in orchestra, you don't have to produce. The music is already produced by the composers with the orchestrations. So you just have to reproduce the music. It's different. It's a different way when you're thinking about how a guitar has to sound. So you will maybe try different EQs, compressors, because you want to get the sound. Here, the sound is the orchestra. So you just have to reproduce. But the thing is, for me, you have to have the right mic at the right place. That's the rule to get a good recording. After that, it's working. You don't need anything else. Sometimes you can use a low cut, something like that, because you just want to clean the track. But if it's good, you don't need anything else. At the time in the 50s, they just used 3 mics and nothing else, and it sounds wonderful. And I tried to have this kind of philosophy. One time, when it came wrong on the recordings, it was a long time ago, the musicians didn't understand the music. It was contemporary music for a film, and they didn't understand anything. it was a nightmare. On each take, it doesn't work. They didn't play really well. It was a bit hard because low instruments were playing really low, and the higher instruments were playing really high, and there was nothing in the middle for them in the orchestrations. They were out of tune all the time. And after 3 or 4 sessions, I think we just kept 10 minutes of scores. And so we decided to go back to France and booked another orchestra in France and record everything in France on the next day. For me, it was okay because the job was done, but it was a nightmare for the production because of budget. It was not scheduled to rebook an orchestra, quite expensive in France, and to say, we were in this country because it's cheaper, but at the end, we have to work with you because it will be better. I know some people were talking about this project after 20 years, and it's the only one. It's the only one. It's an exception. I can say that.